The Currumbin Creek originates in the Gold Coast hinterland below Mount Cougal in the Springbrook National Park. From source to sea, the creek descends 318 metres, flowing through Currumbin Valley towards Currumbin, covering a total of 24 kilometres before it reaches the ocean at the Currumbin Alley. The opening of the Nerang to Tweed railway line in 1903 encouraged settlement in Currumbin. With improved access, a number of pioneer families settled and developed farms around the estuary. The last train to pass through Currumbin and over the Currumbin Creek Bridge was in 1961. Today, the restored historic structure is the only structurally complete bridge in existence on this disused railway line and now serves as a footbridge. The Australian Canoe Federation was formed on September 10, 1949. Affiliation with the International Canoe Federation quickly followed. During these early days, sprint and marathon were the main disciplines of Australian canoeing within the Federation. The first Australian sprint titles were held in 1951. Sprint was also included in the 1956 Melbourne Olympic Games, in which Dennis Green and Walter Brown gained a bronze medal for Australia in the now discontinued K2 10,000 metre event. The canoeing world was surprised at the performance of the Australian team, who reached the finals of all events in their first international competition. In 1996, the Australian Canoe Federation, at its annual general meeting, adopted a new constitution and changed the name of the association to Australian Canoeing. In the 1940s, there had been a Queensland Canoe Club and a Queensland Amateur Canoe Association, but both organisations had become defunct during or after the war. In November 1962, the Queensland Amateur Canoe Federation was formed with only one affiliated canoe club, the already established Indooroopilly Canoe Club, which was formed in 1956. The first meeting of the Queensland Amateur Canoe Federation was held on the 8th of November 1962 around the kitchen table of Gary Gardner's parents. It was the 1990s when the Queensland Canoe Federation changed their name to Queensland Canoeing. Queensland Canoeing is now affiliated with Australian Canoeing and is a state body responsible for the management, coordination, development and promotion of all paddling sports throughout Queensland. John Newton, who originated from Sydney, New South Wales, was a devoted waterman since he was barely old enough to swim. He started his career as a physical education teacher and was introduced to kayaking through his surf club in the late 1950s. Before settling at Currumbin, John and his family resided at Bathina on the Logan River. John taught at Logan Lee State High and he paddled his kayak to and from school every day. He did this for 7 years. In 1997, Mr. Bonfield, the principal of Palm Beach Currumbin State High School, asked John to start up the Kayaking Excellence Program. John, who was previously with the Logan River Club, joined Nerang River Canoe Club, who at this time were predominantly paddling out of Winders Park on Currumbin Creek. John had successfully launched the kayak program at the school, and he soon became frustrated with the club's lack of commitment and interest in building and supporting junior membership. With only 6 kayaks in the school fleet and 18 students to put into seats, John was finding training difficult to organise. The Australian Institute of Sport kindly stepped up and donated some of their retired craft, which gave the school a full fleet. John was becoming increasingly passionate about junior development and called for a meeting.
In 1998, a mixture of parents, surf enthusiasts and local paddlers met in John Newton's classroom at the Palm Beach Currumbin High School after hours. They met to set out the foundation of the Currumbin Creek Canoe Club. The club was registered in October 1998 with John Newton the first coach. He was successful in applying for a grant to purchase boats and equipment. These were stored under a shared arrangement with the Palm Beach Currumbin High School in their storage shed.
It wasn't long before the club was recognised on the national and world stage. Ben Sherry and Jay Chappell were the first of the club to wear the green and gold. For the next 4 to 5 years, the two clubs, Nerang and Currumbin, paddled side by side on Currumbin Creek. The juniors who were based out of the high school were now integrated with the Currumbin Creek Canoe Club's training sessions. John would often run mini triathlon sessions with paddlers disembarking from their kayaks and running laps in Winders Park. Over those years, the pressure was building for the two clubs to amalgamate, but the Nerang Club refused, and after many years, they left the waters of the Currumbin Creek behind. The rivalry between the two clubs was beginning to burn and still blazes today. The paddlers who proudly wear their red shirts to battle on the water changed their name to Varsity Lakes Paddlers Club in 2011. The two clubs nowadays are often referred to as the red shirts or the blue shirts. The Nerang River Canoe Club originally hosted a 6-race series blanketing the entire Gold Coast. Queensland Canoeing put pressure on the Nerang Club to free up the calendar as to allow other clubs to claim dates to host events. In the year 2000, Currumbin Creek Canoe Club took the Currumbin Capers event from the Nerang Club. It was initially run from Winders Park, then moved to the northern side of the boat ramp downstream of Throwers Bridge for 2 years before it found its current home at Preston Park, where it has been hosted from ever since. Joe Holman joined the club in the year 2000 and took over from Debbie as the club's treasurer. She was friends with Richard, who was the president of the New South Wales Marathon Committee at that time. He suggested that she started a series of marathon races catering for paddlers in northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. Joe was given the contact details of clubs who could run races. With Currumbin, it would make a 6-race series, with the races being 1 month apart.
Elizabeth Van Rees of Foster and her husband Murray joined me in recruiting the support of the clubs. New South Wales Canoeing gave us $1,000 to purchase boat numbers and publish a series booklet. The first series was in 2001, with Currumbin paddlers the only Queenslanders participating. I mailed booklets to all the Queensland clubs, but they were very suspicious of the series because of its heavy bias towards New South Wales. But Currumbin paddlers had great fun that first year, and lots of Queensland paddlers met New South Wales paddlers at Currumbin Capers.
The word spread quickly as more and more Queensland clubs got involved with the Northern Marathon Series. 16 years later, there are 8 races in the series, with 4 hosted by Queensland clubs. In 2000 and 2003, Brett and Ty Dowker ran a popular flatwater race and named it the Paddlers Club, with the start line being on the canal in front of Pacific Fair Shopping Centre. For insurance purposes, the Currumbin Creek Canoe Club took over the event in 2004 and moved it to Currumbin Creek. Chris Hurley and Narelle McBride ran this event for 3 years.
It was held every Saturday during the off-season for surf club paddlers in winter, and at times there would be 100 people in the lineup. In alternate weeks, it was a handicap start, and times were based on the times from the mass start the week before. We had a t-shirt in a different colour for each year, and it was free providing you completed the majority of nominated races. Pancakes were the reward when you finished, and Bren and other volunteers could barely keep up cooking them.
When Kent Plummer was elected president in 2008, he relaunched the club's monthly handicap race as we know it today. The handicap race currently begins out front of the Currumbin RSL and heads upstream to Wentz Bridge before returning home. If handicap start times are correct, all paddlers cross the finish line within minutes of each other. The club changed its name in September 2012 to the Currumbin Creek Paddlers Club. As a club, we are fortunate to have the best of both worlds. We have the calm waters of the creek, which takes you out to the open ocean. The Currumbin Alley is the ideal playground to learn to catch waves or to go paddling alongside dolphins or whales. The club was awarded a grant in 2014 which allowed the induction of a fleet of ocean skis. For the first time this year, the club ran a monthly ocean ski race called the Alley Dash. It has been positively received by all local paddlers and will be here to stay. Under the guidance of John Newton, the Currumbin Creek Paddlers Club is responsible for some of Australia's well-known and up-and-coming paddling greats. Our club has always been a nationally recognised talent identification and development training ground. In 2016, we have again been awarded a Pathways Program accreditation status and funding for 2016-2017 season. This would not be possible without the commitment from dedicated coaches and mentors that volunteer many hours each week to support our young juniors to succeed. The club offers structured training for both kayak and ocean skis for all members with numerous options throughout the week. Learn to kayak or ocean ski introductory sessions are also run each Saturday for new members interested in taking up the sport. Again, it wouldn't be possible without the hard-working coaches and volunteers who require little more than a thanks with a smile and the satisfaction of getting more paddlers out on the water. Events have come and gone over the years, such as the K4 Classic, the Skin Sprints Race and the 24-hour Challenge Relay, which were all held on Currumbin Creek. Currumbin has also been the home for the Queensland School Marathon Championships half a dozen times and has a reputation of always hosting a friendly, efficient and professional event without fail. Currumbin's paddlers do venture away from the creek and you will find them exploring or competing at events all over Australia and around the world. The idea for a clubhouse was first discussed at a club committee meeting in mid-2007. The committee knew the club's future was dependent on a place we could call our own.
Despite researching many better sites for our shed, council and others always found a reason as to why we could not go there, so it became take it or leave it for the site in Duval Street. Our planning application was finally lodged in September 2014, and after a gruelling 12-month period, through the council MCU process with a raft of delays, misunderstandings and incompetencies and some 200 scurrilous objections, all of which were ultimately rejected by council, development approval was finally issued in September 2015. After hundreds of hours of project management time and a total investment of nearly $125,000, we now have a shed that we can be proud of.
As the club moves forward, may we never forget where we came from and the amazing, resilient and dedicated people who got us here. On behalf of all Currumbin Creek Paddlers Club members, we say thank you.